heart, chambers, structure and conducting system till page 261, and conducting system of the heart. In model, first of all, heart has anterior surface that is fascia sternocostalis because it's attached to ribs and sternum, sternocostal surface. This is diaphragmatic surface attached to diaphragm. Laterally, this and these surfaces, they are pulmonary surfaces, facies pulmonalis. Facies sternocostalis has groove, sulcus interventricularis anterior between right and left ventricle, and posteriorly here it is sulcus interventricularis posterior. Between atriums and ventricles we have coronary groove, sulcus coronarius cordis, and last groove between right auricle and superior vena cava, that is sulcus terminalis. Anterior interventricular sulcus and posterior one join together near the apex of the heart. Here it is apex, and on the right side from apex this is notch, incisura apicis cordis. Chambers of the heart: two atriums, right and left, and two ventricles, the same, right and left. Right atrium, what opens into right atrium? This is superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, and coronary sinus, sinus coronarius cordis. It also opens into right atrium, that is main vein of the heart. Coronary sinus opens into right atrium. Left atrium, here it is, 4 pulmonary veins opens. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pulmonary veins all opens into left atrium. Why these veins has red color? Because here oxygenated blood from lungs comes to left atrium. Then 2 ventricles, right and left ventricle. From right ventricle start pulmonary trunk, and pulmonary trunk then subdivides into 2 pulmonary arteries, left and right pulmonary arteries. And why they are blue color? Yes, because here it is deoxygenated, but they are arteries, pulmonary arteries, they are pulmonary veins. And from left ventricle, that is aorta start. And in the beginning of aorta and in the beginning of pulmonary trunk, we have semilunar valves, valva semilunaris. And each semilunar valve consists of 3 semilunar valvula. In pulmonary trunk, valvula semilunaris anterior, then valvula semilunaris sinister and dexter. In valva aorta we have the same right and left valvula and posterior valvula semilunaris. That is why right and left present in both valves. And in pulmonary trunk we have anterior valvula, in aorta posterior valvula. Another 2 valves in place where atrium continues into the ventricle. On the right side we have tricuspid valve, or another name is valva atrioventricularis dexter, and on the left side between left atrium and left ventricle, bicuspid valve or mitral valve, or valva atrioventricularis sinister. These valves consist of 2 cusps on the left side and 3 cusps on the right side, and the same number of papillary muscles we can find. On the right side 3 papillary muscles, on the left ventricle 2 papillary muscles, and papillary muscles joined with cusps with the help of chorda tendinea. Between right and left atriums, we have interatrial septum, septum interatriale. And this septum, not very clear to see in this heart, maybe in preparate we will see. Fossa avalis is present on the interatrial septum on the right atrium. Fossa avalis. In fetus, it is foramen avale. And after the birth it closed and forms fossa avalis. It is interventricular septum, and upper third of interventricular septum has name pars membranacea, membranous wall, and lower 2/3, that is pars muscularis, muscular part. Wall of the heart has 3 coats. External coat, help me, what is it?
Pericardium.
Yes, pericardium. Pericardium has 2 layers, parietal and visceral, the same like peritoneum, like pleura, and visceral layer of pericardium, which is fused with the heart, visceral layer. It has specific name. It is epicardium. Epicardium. Epicardium, that is what? Visceral layer of pericardium. Visceral layer of pericardium. Muscular coat is myocardium and inner endocardium. Myocardium differ in atriums and in ventricles. In atriums, myocardium has 2 layers, circular and longitudinal. In ventricles, 3 layers of myocardium. 2 longitudinal, external and internal, and between them, circular. Circular layer is own layer for each ventricle. But longitudinal layer, they are common for both ventricles. And, for example, it is right atrium, it is left. And superficial longitudinal layer of the right ventricle on the apex continues into inner longitudinal layer on the left side. And superficial layer from left ventricle on the apex continues into inner layer on the right side. Clear it is. That is why longitudinal layers are common for both ventricles, and circular layer is own for each ventricle. Next, conductive system of the heart. We have specific cells which can generate impulses and conduct these impulses to myocardium. And conductive system consists of 2 nodes. What are they? SA node and AV node. SA, what is the whole name of SA node? Sinoatrial node, nodus sinoatrialis. This node is on external surface of the heart under the epicardium in the region of sulcus terminalis between right auricle and superior vena cava. Here it is. On external surface we can see SA node. AV node is in lower third of interatrial septum between right and left atrium, in lower third, and the endocardium. And from AV node, that is nodus atrioventricularis, atrioventricular node. From AV node, start bundle of bundle of His. It is fasciculus atrioventricularis. This fascicle goes in membranous part of interventricular septum, comes to muscular part, and subdivides into 2 crus, left and right crus of bundle of His. And this crus goes to the apex, and on the apex continues into Purkinje fibers. And Purkinje fibers goes to myocardium of ventricles. That is conductive system of the heart. Now, what we can see in preparate. This is fascia sternocostalis, diaphragmatic surface, and pulmonary surfaces. How to identify where is anterior and posterior surface? Large vessels, this is pulmonary trunk and aorta, they are anterior, in front, and behind this and this, they are atriums, that is right atrium, and here it is left atrium. Vessels should be in front from atriums. That is why it is anterior surface, here it is posterior. Oh, here it is atriums almost absent. Just we can see small part of left atrium, that is left auricle. Here it is auricula sinistra. And in right atrium, we can see opening of coronary sinus. Sinus coronarius opens into right atrium. And here it is, we can see tricuspid valve, tricuspid, that is anterior cusp, here it is posterior cusp, and here septal cusp. 3 cusps of tricuspid valve. That is all in this heart. And in this preparate, look here, the same. This is fascia sternocostalis, because here it is pulmonary trunk, this is pulmonary trunk. Here it is aorta, that is aorta. This is right atrium, It is right auricle, and you can see that right auricle surround beginning of aorta, and left auricle surround beginning of pulmonary trunk. Then here it is right auricle, and above of auricle we can see what? Superior vena cava, that is vena cava superior. And here it is, this is vena cava inferior. They opens into right atrium. And into left atrium, we can see pulmonary veins. One pulmonary vein, here it is another, and 2 pulmonary veins on this side. Now, we try to see fossa avalis. Oh, it's almost broken. Here it is fossa avalis. Fossa avalis, it is on the right side of interatrial septum. If we open heart, you can see that atrium and ventricles, they are different. In atrium, smooth surface, smooth inner surface in atrium, and rough surface in ventricle. You can see trabecula carna in cavities of ventricle, and smooth surface in ventricle only in the beginning of large vessels. That is left ventricle, that is why this is beginning of aorta. Now my forceps is in aorta. Beginning of aorta has name conus arteriosus, and conus arteriosus, it has smooth surface. Or another part of the ventricle, that is pars trabecularis. And you can see papillary muscle. Here it is. This is posterior papillary muscle of the left ventricle, and this is anterior papillary muscle. And you can see that chorda tendina starts from papillary muscle and goes to the border of cusp. This is posterior cusp, and this one is anterior cusp. Here it is, anterior. It is broken in this heart. Well, between atriums and ventricles, sulcus coronarius cordis, sulcus interventricularis posterior. Oh, it is broken, sulcus interventricularis anterior. Well, your questions? No? That is all.